edition of Talking Fitchburg. It is Wednesday, May 27th, 2020. Hope you have a wonderful day. It's been a busy day here at the Talking Fitchburg headquarters. Headquarters on my house right now. But we're all over the place. Our crews are out there and working hard today, and we appreciate all their help as usual. We've got a very busy show for you. I don't got a lot time off the top here, as we'll get you updated on the latest headlines, including sitting down and talking with Fitchburg Police Department on the potential hazardous materials incident that took place overnight last night into this morning. We'll check in with Lieutenant Edward Hartwick coming up here in just a little bit of time. He'll give us a full synopsis of what happened, and we'll talk a little bit about that call here coming up, and including the headlines for the day, and also your construction update, your Fitchburg construction update. We'll have that for you as well in just a little bit of time, talking with Bill Balke here. He'll get you the latest on the projects, and it's looking good. That's all I'm telling you. Projects are moving along and are doing well. All right, let's turn to the headlines right away here, and we start with that Chalet Gardens road incident here. Latest update came this afternoon. It says here shortly after 10:30 this morning, investigators left the apartment on Chalet Gardens Road following additional search for non-hazardous evidence. Earlier this morning, the hazardous items located in the apartment were removed from the building that deemed safe for occupancy. The investigation has so far revealed several of the materials inside the apartment have explosive properties, but based on the available evidence, there does not appear to be any indication of intent to use the materials to cause damage or harm. There is no evidence to indicate an ongoing threat to the community, and there is no evidence to indicate any damage or injuries have resulted from the presence of the materials located in the apartment. This individual was taken into protective custody at the beginning of the incident at the sole resident of the apartment. Resident was taken to the hospital for mental health evaluation and treatment. Information and evidence obtained during the interview or investigation will be evaluated for any potential referral of criminal charges to Dane County Attorney's office. The investigation remains open. But there's no other information to talk about at this time. As I said, we'll talk with Fitchburg Police Department coming up here in just a little bit of time, give you a breakdown of what happened there, and talk a little about mental health as well here, he said, coming up on the show. All right, in other news, the Fitchburg Farmers Market is coming up, and it's happening tomorrow. That's right. The walk-up Farmers Market has the pre-order or walk-up shopping from 3 to 6 p.m. Drive-through option available as well. Fitchburg Center's Market is open every Thursday, 3 to 6 p.m. Walk-up customers and drive-through pickup pre-orders. And they will have producer stands under the Agora Pavilion at 5511 East Show Parkway that comply with the recommendations from public safety to allow walk-up purchases between 3 and 6 p.m. And then, of course, the market itself goes here, every week with a lot of great your favorites, if you will, at the market. And we hope you'll go out there and check it out. A lot of good things there, including, but not limited to, hand baskets, soaps, fiber, fiber, organics. You got it. It's all there. So head on out, check it out. More information. We'll share up the links here on our headlines. Also, we've got this to tell you about. The Wisconsin National Guard surpasses 70,000 specimens collected at their mobile testing sites around the state. This is pretty incredible. Let's take a look here. Wisconsin teams have collected over 4,100 specimens May 26, and its cumulative total collected for COVID testing topped 72,000 as of 25 teams continue to operate across the state to help health departments in the service of testing of COVID-19. Here in Dane County, we have two teams established in the community-based testing site at Alliant Energy Center that started May 11th. Nearly 7,500 specimens have been collected as of May 27th, so pretty cool stuff there. And previously conducted missions here in Dane County, there was one team that tested more than 1,000 staff and inmates at Dane County Jail from April 24th through the 27th. One team collected over 300 specimens May 26th at a long-term care facility in Verona. They're all over the state, as you know, and doing a great job out there at doing the testing. That testing will continue on And you can find out more information about the testing site at the Alliant Energy Center at the Public Health of Madison and Dane County. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, we will sit down with the Fitchburg Police Department. We'll talk with Lieutenant Edward Hartwick about last night's potential hazardous materials call. That and more coming up here on Talking Fitchburg.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. We are now joined via Zoom. We're checking in with Lieutenant Edward Hartwick, and he is going to be helping us today talk a little bit about a recent incident that took place last night here in the city of Fitchburg in Chalet Gardens Road area. Edward, thanks for taking the time. I know you're busy and tired from last night, but I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeremy.
First and foremost, if you kind of set up here, it came in as the way you guys press released it as potential hazardous material. Kind of talk about what transpired starting last night.
Sure. So around 5 p.m. yesterday, we were called to an apartment in the 2300 block of Chalet Gardens. A family member was calling concerned about a family member that resides at that apartment there. And we went at the request of that family member to go and check actually on another family member who had gone to check on the resident of that apartment and encountered the resident. During the course of our contact with the resident and their family member, the resident, who was the only occupant of that apartment, was taken into protective custody. And while we were inside the apartment, officers noticed some concerning items that were deemed to be potentially hazardous materials. And so as a result of that, out of an abundance of caution, there was no immediately recognizable risk at that point, but out of an abundance of caution to continue the investigation and make sure everything was safe, we worked with the fire department and the Red Cross to evacuate the other 3 apartments in the building to make sure that everyone would be safe while we carried on our investigation. From there, we worked with the Dane County Hazardous Device Unit, formerly, or I guess more informally known as the Bomb Squad. And they did a preliminary investigation of the materials inside. And then as a result of their work, the 54th Civilian Service Team, which is a component of the National Guard, came in with their expertise and skill set to assess the materials that were inside the apartment and determined that after examining a lot of the materials at the apartment and the building was safe. From there, we had some follow-up investigation to conduct this morning.
Edward, sorry, I nicknamed there Ned. Edward, talk about scene safety. This is something that you guys practice, certainly, about going into any scene and scene safety, but seeing something like this, how are the officers prepped to handle this type of situation? Kind of unfolded, quickly in nature.
Yeah, that's the challenge that we're in. We go into a number of environments that have a number of risks associated. Currently, we're obviously dealing with the pandemic, which presents a risk to everyone. And then we never know what type of environment, whether it's someone's car or someone's apartment, someone's residence, we never know what might be going on in there. So officers have to really make some quick judgments based on observations, training, past experience, things just don't look or feel right. And the officers on scene did a good job of identifying some suspicious materials and getting the experts involved to make some more determinations as to what the most prudent course of action would be to make sure that the community is safe.
Yeah, and then what happens, and again, I obviously know we're not going to get any details here. This is an ongoing investigation, so understanding that, but how does the team work then to preserve the evidence, first off, for data? You're collecting evidence here in the scene, but then to move that and then deem that it is all safe for our community.
Sure, it's really teamwork. We really focus on the evidence and any potential criminal investigation and criminal aspect of it, and we defer to the experts who literally are able to bring scientists on scene as part of this civilian service team to come in and assess these things from a distance with limited personnel inside the apartment to make sure that things are safe. And it's obviously the priority is number one, always everybody's safety over the ability to collect evidence. And when things, in this instance, when nothing was destroyed or damaged, we're able to assess everything from an evidentiary standpoint and really accomplish both tasks in this case. But fortunately, they were able to make a quick assessment of what was going on there and determine that there really wasn't any ongoing threat or potential for a negative outcome.
It says here on the recent release that you put out there, again, no charges wise, you've handed this off to the district attorney. Is this pretty standard in this type of case? Again, we're not too sure what the case is. We know enough on the surface here, and I realize you can't go into it, but is this some normal practice based on what you're seeing here?
So in this instance, it's not a routine investigation, fortunately, that we handle. So we have to really evaluate all the information that's available from the partners that worked with us in this incident to assess what evidence and information is out there. A big component in referring criminal charges is often intent and what the individual intended on potentially doing with these materials. And so we have to take some time to make sure we have all the accurate information available to us at this time and make an evaluation as to whether or not we will seek a referral for criminal charges. And then ultimately it's up to the district attorney's office, as it is in any case, as to whether or not they deem criminal charges to be the most appropriate outcome in any instance. Well, yeah, fortunately, this isn't a regular occurrence. And so a lot of times in instances where we are dealing with unique circumstances as far as potential criminal charges, we really serve the role of assessing what evidence and information is available to us at the time and putting together a package for assessment by the district attorney's office to see if any charges are going to result or if there's any possibility of criminal charges, and then they obviously make the determination if they deem those appropriate in this instance. So again, another part of the teamwork end of things, we are the initial responders and then are kind of serving as the facilitators and the maintaining the scene security and the safety of the area while the experts do their work. And then we, in a sense, defer everything that we collect to the district attorney's office to make an assessment for what the most appropriate outcome is in this instance.
Yeah, and again, I appreciate you. I know that you can't go into too many details, so doing my best not to just
Sure.
go down that path here. But is there any comparisons with this to something that we've seen in Beaver Dam? We've seen it in Madison, where things were collected in a nature of circumstance, maybe for harm. Is there any details there that you can talk about, or anything to ensure the public here
Sure.
that this means
Yeah.
safe?
Yeah, so I mean, there are obviously similarities in how the scene is processed, assessed, and processed. But one of the, I guess, key components that has to be taken into account, especially when we're looking at things from a criminal aspect or potential criminal aspect, is intent and what the person who was in possession or was in this apartment with these items may have intended or had additional evidence that they may have been involved in. And in this instance, we have not been able to determine any sort of intent or any evidence of intent to use any of these materials. Again, some of these materials have explosive properties to them, and the potential could be there if proper combinations were in place. I'm not a chemist by any stretch of the imagination, so the potential, I guess, could be there. And on the surface, some of these things could be labeled as explosives or could be used in explosives. But again, to answer your question, and in comparison to these other incidents, we don't have any information that there's a plan or an intent in place by the resident of this apartment to use these or cause harm or damage to anybody or anything.
This sounds like it was a sort of a check welfare situation. Pretty common occurrence, taking away the hazardous material piece of this. Would you have any advice for checking on levels? I know we're going through a difficult time with the COVID-19 pandemic, and mental health is a super big piece here now. I think we need to focus on, from your standpoint, checking on loved ones, no matter what the situation is. Any tips there that we could share with our community?
Yeah, coincidentally enough, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and bring up a very good point in that people who are already experiencing challenges related to their mental health may have those issues heightened or furthered as a result of whatever may be going on in their life related to the pandemic. And so, anecdotally, I think we've seen a number of these incidents where people are concerned about the welfare of a loved one or family member, or people are reaching out to us for assistance. And I think it's important for people to know that we are there as a resource and kind of the initial responding agency to check on someone, and we're pretty adept at connecting people to the proper resources. And just because you call the police because someone may be in need of assistance or you haven't heard from them in some time doesn't mean that they're in any sort of trouble by any stretch of the imagination. Our intent is to assess any incident, whether it's this incident or just someone calling in a family member that something concerning is going on, that we have to look at it through the lens of what's going on with that situation. They may be engaging in an activity or behavior that could be criminal, but is it really criminal at that point, or is it more of a mental health issue? So I don't ever want someone to be dissuaded by contacting us thinking that the person's going to get in trouble. So we're available. Any law enforcement agency is pretty experienced at dealing with individuals in mental health crisis. We have a number of officers, a rather high percentage of our staff are trained in crisis intervention, and have a skill set that's particularly geared towards dealing with people in mental health crisis.
Yeah, you guys do a great job from the stories that we reported on throughout the years of the extra training you do go through to deal with mental health and other related issues. Finally, as we wrap up here, any threat to this person going into this, and this would be the reporter side in me here, leave any questions on the table. But as far as any charges coming out, any future information, when will we start to see some of that come out?
I don't, at this point, based on the information that we have available, I don't think that there's going to be much further follow-up as it relates. I don't foresee any additional information being uncovered. From our understanding at this point, there's no ongoing threat to the community or any individuals in the community as a result of this investigation. And I think we're approaching this more so from the perspective of the welfare check that originally started this incident. I'm sorry, and looking at it from that perspective. So I don't anticipate much additional follow-up to come from this. I would just put a plug out there that we remain available if residents anywhere they live, no matter what their circumstances are, if they're observing abnormal or suspicious behavior, and again, actual behavior that they can articulate as to that's why it's suspicious or concerning, please give us a call and let us know. We'd rather check on it or know of it before it becomes a major concern.
Yeah, see something, say something is something that Chad and I have talked about many times on the show,
yeah.
And I laugh, but it's a very true thing, and any information you can get, no matter what it is very helpful. Edward, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate you answering the questions today, and we'll look forward to having you back on the show, maybe for other circumstances. We got to get on here and talk about other stuff you guys are working on. A lot of great stuff happening there at the Fitchburg Police Department. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, Lieutenant Edward, good friend of the show, and appreciate his time. And if there's any other info, certainly we'll share it right here on Talking Fitchburg. Take a quick break, more to come. You are watching Talking Fitchburg.
Give your town a reason to celebrate. Because every Goodwill item you bring home brings job training and more to your community. Goodwill, bring good home.
Back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from a remote location I call City Hall, it's Bill Balky. Bill, how you doing? Oh, I got to press these buttons too, apparently. I don't have Andrew here to guide me, Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. You got everything situated there?
You would think so. I mean, I've been on the line here with you for, 10 minutes and trying to get everything set up. But no, I'm doing good. Bill, missed you last week. I know you're very busy out there. But let's start on Fish Hatchery Road. What do we got going on?
Up at the intersection of Greenway Cross there, we switched the traffic over to a one-way eastbound. So we did have a traffic switch there. So we do have a detour set up on Index and Post Road. So if you're wanting to get back on the Fish Hatchery Road from Greenway Cross from the east there, you'll have to travel down Index to Post Road back to Fish Hatchery Road. We'll be doing the paving there for the next couple of weeks. Then we'll be switching traffic over to the south side of that for a couple of weeks. And then after that, we'll be closing down Post Road. So Greenway will be open and Post Road will be closed. And then as we're progressing through the construction there.
Yeah, it's moving along pretty good. Last week I saw that they had already done some paving from basically the Beltline to Greenway Cross. So they're just moving right along there. And you said they said the rest of this week they'll work on getting that pavement down. How about we had some water shutoffs last week? All that went good, Bill? Just checking in here, keeping you honest.
Yep. We had the shutdowns overnight or later into the evening so that we can make those new connections and got everybody back up and running by the next morning.
Fantastic. And then we have the traffic shift in place, as you said, moving right along. What after we get done here between basically the Beltline up to Traceway, then they'll continue to move further south this year?
No, not further south from Traceway, but as we're progressing, that'll be in 22 or next year in 21. I forget what year it is now.
Just like I could have looked at the staging map and answered my own question here as it pulled up.
Yeah,
I was like, I remember one of those, but So basically going up to Traceway Drive gets us through the rest of this year.
Right. So we'll be finishing up and going south as we go from Greenway Cross down to Traceway Drive, and then we'll be switching over to the other side of Fish Hatchery Road and doing the northbound lanes over there. So just moving along.
I was going to say, it just feels like it's just moving along really good there. All right, let's switch gears now over to the McKee Road project. That one continuing on. I heard we're still working with the utilities to keep things moving forward.
Yep, we're working through the conflicts that are up there, relocating some gas mains. So contractors are working up in the pond area there at the intersection of Seminole and McKee Road. That pond up there is getting enlarged because of the flooding issues that we've had with the homes downstream from there. So while we're doing the construction to take care of the traffic, we're also looking at the stormwater needs of the area as well. So that's why there's a big, as people call it, a wasteland up there now with all the trees that have been removed. But behind the trees, there was a stormwater facility, and it wasn't meeting the needs of the stormwater that's currently out there right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, Bill. It looked like they were dredging that little pond there. Was that happening so you guys can expand that, or kind of explain what the process is going on in there?
Yeah, it's kind of a two-stage project where we pumped it down so that we can get down to the sediment that's been deposited over 25 years there. We're scooping all that out, so we're getting rid of the volume of dirt that was in there, and then we're also increasing the size of the pond so it'll hold more water when we do have those big storm rainfalls that we've had the past few years.
Yeah, it's and then as far as expansion of that intersection going down Seminole, is that getting like an additional turn lane? Where's that? It seems like it's just got really giant. I know, again, moving the trees and stuff is part of that, but talk a little bit about there at the intersection of McKee and Seminole.
And we're adding a left turn lane and a right turn lane there for southbound traffic, as well as a northbound right turn. And then I guess it would be westbound. We're adding a right turn lane there as well. We're also lining up the left turn lanes on McKee Road so that we'll be able to have better sight lines through the area. We had a few accidents that happened up there because people couldn't see around the cars. And with the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit up there, a lot of people they got injured.
Yeah.
So we're looking at adding some turn lanes there. We're also shifting the road to the east on Seminole Highway there, away from those condominiums that are there. So it's actually going into the pond area. And that was done because, we would have to acquire a lot of expensive real estate through that area to make the road work. So we moved it into the pond area. So that's why some of that area and those trees had to come down for that too.
Yeah, when you get near there, you definitely notice this as it's coming together. But when it's all completed, the safety aspect of it's going to be really good. Finally, on that project, the bridge going across, that construction's moving right along as well.
Yes, they installed the bridge pilings last week, and so they'll be filling in the area over the next couple of weeks there, starting to build that up, and then we're looking at sometime in August to be able to place the bridge across McKee Road.
Fantastic. And that bridge will be a similar color to the one just up the way there, closer to the 151?
Correct. It'll be the green color. It won't be exactly the same. We won't have the middle pier that's in the median there. It'll just be a single span from end to end across the road. So it'll be a similar shape and size, but just not have that middle pier in the road.
All right, Bill, now we're changing final gears here to my favorite project. You know what it is, Fahey Glen. That looks like it's near completion.
Yep, they were out there pouring some colored concrete this morning in the median, which is one of the final steps that they'll be doing. Then they'll be finishing up the paving for the path and the sidewalk up there, and then the final asphalt. So we're looking to have that ready within the next couple of weeks, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks really, really cool. Very excited for that one to open up as well. Bill, appreciate the time as always. Look forward to catching back up with you next week.
All right, talk to you then.
All right, that's Bill Balke. If you guys know Bill, I mean, we like to give him a little hard time when he's on here, so try to get him to smile just a few times. Right, Bill?
Try.
That's why I like this guy. All right, we'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Welcome back to Talking Fitchburg. I want to take the time to thank. Do that again. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for the day. I want to thank Bill Balke for coming in and helping us with the Fitchburg road construction update, and again, Lieutenant Edward Hartwick to help us with the update on that potential hazardous materials call. Appreciate his time and Bill's time for joining us on the show and getting you the latest information. That's what we do here at Talking Fitchburg. All right, we're wrapping up the show because my phone is going off the hook with questions. We want to remind you of this. Stay connected with Fact TV all day long. That's right, through Facebook. We've got it on YouTube. We've got our stuff on cable TV. We're everywhere, folks. And I do want to put out there that we will run Jeff Dosick interview. We had an interview, and that was supposed to be our guest today. I had to make a change up, so we'll get him back on the show tomorrow here, and we'll be talking about lots of great things on the show. So till then, have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.